We still have a few more people waiting to come in, so we'll wait for them, okay? I couldn't. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for coming. It's wonderful to see this significant attendance today, our last one of these in this particular year. So I will call the assembly to order. And the first order of business, of course, is to hear from Pastor Leslie.
Good morning. Let us pray. Holy God, we pray today for your light to overtake the darkness of the world. Where there is darkness of war and suffering, where there is the darkness of poverty and despair, where there is the darkness of hunger and homelessness, where there is the darkness of addiction and brokenness, where there is the darkness of heartbreak and grief, where there is the darkness of depression and anxiety, we pray for your light to break in and shine. This season of Advent, as we wait for the birth of the Messiah, we pray for peace in the world, an end to poverty and despair, homelessness and hunger, addiction and brokenness. We pray for your tender compassion for those who grieve and suffer from depression, anxiety, and grief. And today we pray that our work in this community is sure and certain. Blessings and peace in this holy season to you in the happiest new year to you all. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, the first order of business is approval of minutes. Our secretary, Meg Ludlam.
Okay, I am asking for your approval of amended minutes for both October and November, which I failed to get approved last month, and amendments keep getting made to these minutes that uh, that you don't necessarily hear about. I'm working on a procedure to make that better. But the amendments in question for October involved a minor correction to the treasurer's report, and for November, 2 sentences from Rosie's report were stricken due to lack of clarity. And I reported wrong on the corrections for the council minutes, but that's not relevant here. Anyway, these minutes, these approved amended minutes are supposed to be posted on Touchtown, which they had not been since last summer due to my indigence in, not that. Anyway, I wasn't sending Hallie the minutes, but I now have, or after this approval, will send these, and so they'll be completely up to date on Touchtown after this meeting. So I would like to ask for approval of the amended minutes for October and November assembly meetings. Thank you.
It's
All
been
in
moved
favor?
and seconded.
All in favor? Oh, there's a hand up in the back. Oh, okay. All in favor? Thank you.
Thank you. And now Allison with our treasurer's report.
Good morning. This is on. Yes. I think you can hear me.
No.
No. Is it on?
Now it is.
There we go. All right. With the C's candy sale profit deposited, it was $2,012.80. Thank you for all you who have such sweet tooths. And there was a November payout for library books of $71.62, leaving a balance in our resident council account of $4,190.86.
All right. So last Monday, we had the great privilege of sending your generosity to the hourly workers in the Employment Appreciation Fund project. Here to talk about it, of course, is the woman who's managed this process brilliantly, right? Carolyn, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank all of you generous supporters of this fund for letting go of some of your resources in order to bring special joy to those hourly employees who catch us in many different ways all throughout the year. I really do want to thank all of you. To summarize, the goal we achieved this year through many gifts during the last month up until the December 1st deadline, we achieved a goal of $100,370. And this amount was dispersed to 168 employees based on the number of hours they worked just during this past year, during 2023. One of the most rewarding experiences for those of us who serve on the council was getting to hand out these envelopes to the employees who came one by one down earlier this week to the lower level where we handed them out. This gives us a chance to get to know some of the workers a little bit in a different scenario, and to really hear their appreciation. But I would like to read to you a thank you note that we received, but it's addressed to all of the Hearthstone residents. It says, "Dear Hearthstone residents, our family can't thank you enough for your generous gift this year. We truly appreciate your generosity and making our holiday brighter each year with this significant contribution to our holiday shopping, gifts, and meals." So that's just one expression of thanks. So I want to thank all of you once again for what we can accomplish together as a community. And just to remind you, this keeps going on. If any of you are interested in becoming monthly givers, I have put new funds down below in the Resource Center, changed the date to the fund for 2024. So new forms are in that box by where you sign up. And if you would like to become a monthly giver starting in January, you need to get that in quite soon. Thank you.
Just an absolutely wonderful job. This, as I mentioned before, oh, that's what I was thinking about. Everything comes into focus. This is the last assembly of the year. And I think it's important to think about what an eventful year it has been. There are still things that need improvement and perhaps a little more consistency. I'm thinking of heat in the coves and the elevators. But we're making progress on a regular basis. There can be no doubt that major improvements have happened over the last 12 months. Just to jog your memory, it was 1 year ago this month that Sodexo took over the dining services. Have you seen an improvement? Yeah. The second floor dining room has received some wonderful art. The bistro is now open and thriving. The gardens at the coves have blossomed. More's on the way with possibly a new gazebo and a table that's being designed. We have a beautiful new Tesla. We'll hear a little bit more about that in a minute. Touchtown has moved from a struggle to being a very useful communication tool. And please remember, if you're struggling with Touchtown, there's a series of ambassadors ready to come and help you. As a matter of fact, I helped somebody just the other day get it hooked up and going. So once you get that going, it's very easy. Each floor over the last year has done more and more social events, gathering the floor community together. The movie committee, oh my heavens, movies, 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 movies. The gift shop is in full business mode. Resident engagement has brought us many new activities, both here at the Hearthstone and out on the road. We have entertainment groups here on a more frequent schedule than ever before. And then, of course, there's the happy hour on Thursdays, becoming quite a deal. For those of you who weren't there, last Thursday, we had 81 people at happy hour. So, all in all, not too bad a year as we move out of COVID into the non-COVID sunlight. So as I'm sitting here going through this, Molly Moat comes rushing up to the stage and says, "Have you heard? Have you heard?" No, I don't know whether you've heard this, Reggie or Lee, but this morning, Newsweek magazine, you know how they rate colleges all the time? They rated CCR communities across the country, right? There were 250 they rated all across the country. The Hearthstone came in 10th. And in the state of Washington, we are first. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? Absolutely wonderful. But as we move into the next year, there's one important thing that is going to be missing. And that, of course, is the spark. I think it's important to talk for a couple of minutes about that. First, I think we need to acknowledge the hard work done by the dedicated team that has kept that publication going since 2018. If you want to see a little bit of history, the last issue of Spark has an article by Shirley Peringer on the history, right? Every month, Voicelyn Jackson, Irene Schwartz, Shirley Peringer, Mary Edwards, Susanna Sowery, Lori Ness, Joe Plord have all pitched in. And lately, Pedro Sanchez has been doing the formatting. And of course, as we all know and recognize, the editor-in-chief, Penny Narup, has worked diligently in leading the effort. I think we need to salute Penny and the entire team by saying thank you. And Denise Lentini just brought me this. Sarah Allen, who lives down in the Coves, has started a little memory book that says, thank you, Penny. So what I'm going to do is put this out in the crowd now and take a minute to write a thought, a comment, or a thank you. And also, please don't keep the pen. Or the book. So I'm going to start with you folks. Just write a little note and then pass it along and get it all the way around. All right? Another round of applause for the spark. That prompts the question, what's next? At our meeting last Thursday, your residents' council, that is all the floor and building chairs and this leadership group, discussed the need for a publication by and for the residents. How's that going to come about? Well, what we decided to do, that as a committee is being formed with a specific task of deciding the important next steps. They include what kind of publication should it be? How often should it be published? How will it be produced? And then, of course, setting some standards. We have a wealth of talent in this group, in our community, and we should tap into that. So what we've done is asked each of the floor or building chairs at your next floor building meeting to ask for a volunteer to serve on this publication steering committee. Now, what we don't want to do is have a committee of 25 because they end up with a camel. We want, a select group that can spend some serious time figuring out exactly how we make this work going forward. Already in the works is a survey to check with our residents about what they would like to see in this. Also, we have 2 members of the council of the community who've already stepped up. Meg Ludlam and Laurel Johnson have said they're willing to serve on the committee, so we've already got it started. One other really important thing for you to understand is that this effort has the full support of Hearthstone management in the person of Reggie Mullis. Georgia and I have been meeting with Reggie, talking about this, about how this can develop. He's very clear in stating that Hearthstone management will provide resources and budget necessary to make this a quality publication. So no hesitation about that. Full support from Hearthstone management to bring to us a new publication. So stand by, and when it comes time for a survey, please take time to fill it out. We need to know what you think. All right, with that, I would like to welcome a special visitor today. And Lee Kors is the past president of the Hearthstone Board of Trustees, is the current secretary, and has come by to say hello. Come on, Lee, say a little bit.
Okay, what does Santa Claus suffer from when he gets stuck in the chimney? Claustrophobia. Okay, sorry. Dad joke. My name is Lee Kors. As Frank said, I am one of the past chairs of our current Board of Trustees. This is my 6th year on the board. I'm currently the secretary. Just wanted to give every single resident here and staff member a truly warm Merry Christmas wish. It's the time of season. It's the time to be thankful, and we as the board are very thankful for each and every one of you as residents, for all of our staff, and for all of our leadership. I've been on the board, like I said, 6 years. I currently am employed at Nordstrom. 38 years and counting, not ready to quite retire yet. But I also have a true passion for the Hearthstone. My father was on the board here back in the 90s. I'm a member of Messiah Lutheran Church over here in View Ridge, and they were one of the founding congregations of this facility back in the 60s. So as representing the board, we just wanted to say Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. I'll be here throughout the rest of the meeting, and I'll be here afterwards, and I promised Frank that I'd speak for less than a minute, and we're at 58 seconds. So thank you.
Brevity is the soul of wit. claustrophobia. Okay, stepping up a level. Sorry. So I need to change the screen here because Reggie has some interesting things to tell us about. Would you please welcome Reggie Mullis, our CEO? Yeah, right.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's so good to see. Is this working? First of all, thank you very much.
First trip and fall.
Yeah. Evidence of that would have not materialized for several minutes when I went to leave the stage and ended up on the floor. So thank you. I appreciate you letting me know. Okay. So let's see. Never have enough places to put things. So we're going to start with a presentation by our illustrious transportation manager, Jeff Smith. He's going to join me up here in a second. Are y'all hearing me okay? Yeah, okay. It's weird because up here, I know we don't hear it up here, but it's because the mic is here and this is a smart system. So are we getting something on the screen yet?
There you go. No. Oh, your desktop.
Yeah, isn't that a pretty desktop?
It is.
Okay, so try this again. That should take us here. Okay. And if you want to turn the projector off, it's okay. It's a lot of white backgrounds, and these folks are going to get blinded. So that won't help you see, but you can watch the recording. So Stephen has promised to be sure we get a recording. If you haven't heard, the concert on Monday that Hart and Wilda did was not videotaped. We had a problem with the camera. There is a repeat concert in the Bridge on Sunday, 3 o'clock, I think. You're welcome to attend there. We will be filming that concert, and we'll have that available on our channel as well as on YouTube. So I'm going to give it to Jeff and have him come up and talk a little bit about kind of what's going on with vehicles. Space bar. Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? So, yeah, we did. We bought another Tesla. I'm just going to say the big part first. We're now 100% electric. We are 100% emissions free. And here in Washington, our grid is a hydropower primarily. So we are charging these cars cleanly. And it's, as good as we can get for the environment as far as transportation goes. So there it is. That is the new car right there. We did think a lot about what the next vehicle should be. And, we've had the blue Model X for 5 months now. And it has basically done everything that we thought it would. It's good for the environment. It's saving us money. We don't buy gas anymore. We can charge right here at the Hearthstone. And it's also much easier to get into. That was a critical thing that I really wanted for medical transportation is the ease of entry. And so we kind of wanted another X. That was the plan, but they are very expensive. So we started looking, what else can we get that can do everything that that car can do? And the Model S came up because I found out that some of these have the same suspension system that lets you raise and lower it. But what we do in this car, because it's a sedan, is we can actually raise it to accommodate, people that have a little more difficulty getting in. And let's see, next one. Oh, one more. Okay. So I just took this little shot here to show you the difference in size. So these are both on medium settings. So this is how they naturally drive around, but the X can lower itself several inches and the S can raise itself several inches to where they meet right in the middle at the perfect height for getting in. And we do already have an appointment to get our logos put on the next car. And so we'll have a, fully electric Tesla family with, advertisement right on the side. Okay, gotcha. So our Sienna's lease was up. We had to get another car, either way. But because of kind of the crazy market that we're in right now, the Sienna actually had equity in it. So we decided to purchase the Sienna in order to trade it in and not lose that money. So we got equity out of a leased car, which is kind of incredible. And then the S is nearly 20,000 less than an X. So you put those two together and we got a heck of a deal on another Tesla. And it's nearly identical. It's a 2020. Both cars are 2020. They both have the same warranty and they're both about the same mileage. We've put 5,000 on the X already and they're both right, I think, at 37,000 right now. So they're just the perfect sweet spot for depreciation curve where we get, you don't pay that huge price up front. We get the most off, but we get the most life of the car. So these minimum should last us 5, and I'm hoping even 10 years of service life. So we don't have to do this again. This should be hopefully, the team for the future. The other neat thing about the S that I did not know was it looks like a sedan, but it actually has a hatchback. So it can carry wheelchairs. It can carry walkers. We can use it, and we have been using it already as kind of a fill-in when our medical gets too busy. But in the future, the plan is to use this as our new concierge car. And that's not quite ready yet, but I hope, here soon we'll have our concierge program launched, and this will be the car that will take over for that. The X will remain medical because it has done an amazing job already at medical transportation. It's kind of the minivan size and shape, and it'll continue to do that. And the S will be used for the concierge program. But of course, we mix and match as needed. If one's busier than the other, the cars are both used to fill in. Now that we have a driver, and she's doing incredibly well, we have a team, and this is the cars that go along with that. So that is the plan for the future. Yeah, and I hope we get that, our new concierge launch. Hope we can, maybe next meeting, we talk about that. All right.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I'll leave that up for a second. If you'll leave that off for me, please. Leave that off there, y'all. Yeah, there you go. I got a hand in the back. I call on him? Yeah, yes, sir. You can pull your mask down. Thank you, Don. We appreciate that. Yeah, I was actually, that sets me up to make the comment that all of our transportation vehicles, all of our cars are Teslas. We still have our big Chevy van that can take a large group, and it has a ramp to get in and out of with wheelchairs, walkers, what have you. And we added a fourth vehicle, and some of you may have seen it and some haven't. But the one thing we lost when we got rid of this Toyota Sienna, which is a minivan, was we didn't have a way to haul plywood or 2x4s. Because Gary, that's what Gary would do. He'd catch Jeff and say, hey, can I have the Sienna? He'd go to the hardware store, whatever he needs. So we bought a small pickup. And I'm telling you this because Jeff got an incredible deal on that, as he did both of these vehicles. I mean, if you need to buy or sell a car, if he's got the time, call Jeff. He's been in this industry a long, long time, not our industry, in the automotive industry, and so much experience. But yeah, so thank you, Jeff. The other part of that story is it was a friend's mother selling it. Was an excellent deal, way below Blue Book. The truck is an excellent truck. It's parked in the loading dock. If you ever walk that way, it's kind of a burgundy Toyota Tundra that we really got for a steal. I mean, we really did. One of the ways that we got was because the truck was in Las Vegas. Well, Jeff just happened to be going to Las Vegas for Thanksgiving. He flies out, he drives that truck back. The part of the story you don't know about, he probably will be embarrassed that I tell, but not long after he started that 2-day journey, basically, right? Yeah, he became ill. And the kind of ill that you don't want to have when you're behind the wheel of a vehicle, that kind. So a lot more stops than Jeff would typically make. He survived it. I know for a fact it was miserable, and he's just such a trooper. And we're so appreciative not only of the work you've done with our vehicles, but rebuilding the transportation department, bringing on Justine. I think she's a wonderful addition to the staff here. And so thank you. I really appreciate it. Okay, so my part of the presentation is to talk about a change that we're making to our image. I can't see behind me. So not long after I got here, and including the moment in time where Jill became the director of sales here, we started having conversations about the Hearthstone's image. Now, you can characterize that any way you want. You can characterize it by our existing logo. You can characterize it by the signs on the exterior of the building. But we think there's a lot more to the Hearthstone and all of you and all of our history that we need to recognize in the image we portray to the public. So this is what we have. I'm sure you've seen it. It's on business cards. It's on letterhead. It's in quite a few places around. So we started this discussion with, where did that come from? And believe it or not, we got so few knowledgeable answers to that question. I even asked the board. Lee knows. We rolled this out to our board a month ago. They gave a thumbs up, and that's why I'm showing it to you today. The reality is that the logo that you see here did not seem to have a great deal of meaning to it. I'll give you, for instance, one board member said, because I asked, what are those horizontal, unparalleled lines? And somebody said, well, that's maybe reeds on the lake. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never seen reeds grow this way. They generally grow this way. But we, you know, Jill especially, and I give her a ton of credit with this, we don't have the easel. It's okay. In the lobby later today will be a large easel that has the new logo on it. We're going to unveil it in here, but I'll unveil it on the screens. No, it's okay. I meant to send you a message to do that, and I totally forgot. So we couldn't find a lot of history or understanding of what this was supposed to mean, except obviously our name. So we sort of said, okay, just wipe the slate clean, let's start from scratch. And we use an outside marketing company, a company called Apex Media, and led by a gentleman named Eric Christensen. And he has, as a part of his offering to us, a designer, a digital designer named Sybil Perkins. And I can't begin to tell you how many hours Jill and I have met together, gotten on the phone with Eric, gotten on the phone with Sybil, gotten on the phone with both of them, and looked through a number of possible replacements. We also went through over 100 logos from other companies, many of whom are in our industry. It was like, we were looking at what do other people do? What seems to be important? That helped us a great deal. The one thing we saw probably more obvious than anything is color. There's no color in this logo, and that's okay, but it does represent an image, I think sort of stoic maybe is a reasonable term. But some could say, you know, very conservative, that would apply, but it just didn't, for Jill and her sales efforts and us as a general community, we just wanted to refresh what we had. And I'll talk about cost here in a minute. So I'm going to piggyback off what Jeff has done, which is make us a 2 Tesla family, right? 2 Tesla family. So here's my idea of what the logo should look like. If you can't see it from the back, I'm so glad you all get that joke. Me, so, okay. So no, that's not the real logo. Okay. I was going to have Jill join me because she knows so much more about how we got here. I was involved, but she really took the lead on this, and I would have her stand up. I hope all of you know Jill, because if you've moved in here in the last year and a half, you worked with her, but then she's been a part of our sales and marketing team for years, as has Ariana been for many, many years. So, all right. When we think about the Hearthstone and the area where we live, this image comes to mind. And I'll give credit to Frank Greif. This is his photograph that he graciously shared with us. I would just make this the logo, but that's not really what we. Why does it do that? There we go. Thanks for letting me know. It is working, right? Yeah. That's the problem with not being able to hear up here what you all hear. So just for a minute, think about this image and what it means to you. You know what, I hope some of you say, well, that's a big part of why I live here. Most of you might say that. Some of you may say, well, Green Lake is my home. I've lived in this area, and maybe not from this vantage point, which by the way is that looking from the building? Yes. It is what we see. Jill calls it our swimming pool. I call it our front yard because we don't have a yard except for the garden. But I mean, this really is the playground of this area, and it's just so important to all that we do. So remember that. So we took that image and we started thinking about, okay, what does that make us think about? That's why I'm asking you. The first thing, and I'm now talking about the logo that I will show you in a minute. I want you to understand how we got there. So the first thing is just in general, looking at the overall imagery of the logo itself. The first thing is the fact that, and I'll read this, it's not huge font, but life at the Hearthstone in Seattle's scenic and beloved Green Lake neighborhood offers a deep connection to nature. Together, the trees and the lake represent the neighborhood's natural splendor, our greatest asset and our biggest competitive advantage, and our very unique selling proposition among our urban-centric competitive set. What that means is, ain't nobody else got a lake. I mean, yes, there's a CCRC on Lake Washington, but the reality is nobody has Green Lake. And it's a thing I noticed when I came to interview the job. I'm like, wow. And the board members I was with, we went up to the 10th floor. If you haven't been there lately, or you don't live there, go up and see that lake from the 10th floor. It's just always, especially at sunset, it's amazing. So, and I give Jill credit for that paragraph. Actually, she wrote most of this, but that's the realities. We were looking for something that represented some form of imagery associated with our biggest asset. The second thing is, and this kind of came about just through conversations on the phone with our designer, and again, I'll credit Jill, was this idea of a symbolism of a trilogy. Now, you stop and think about the things in your life, the things in your history, education, things that number 3, and there are some important ones. Here at the Hearthstone, our first one is, of course, the fact that we have 3 buildings. We have Lakeside, we have Cove West, and the youngest member of the family is Cove East. That's a reason to think in terms of 3. But if you dig a little deeper, and if you are religious, spiritual, or understand faith from a Christian perspective, the reality is it could also represent the Holy Trinity. One more piece that came to light as we were working through this is the fact that, and I won't ask how many folks are Lutheran. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be Lutheran to live here. You kind of need to be Lutheran to be on the board. And all of our original founding churches are Lutheran, but we're founded on a faith, and that has driven things like having a full-time chaplain. And regardless of your religious beliefs or faith or the church that you may or may not belong to, a chaplain is so important to us. That's one huge piece of it. Sorry, I'm just checking my notes. I don't want to miss that. It also affects the services that we offer here. And it's also one of the primary reasons we have a resident assistance program. Most for-profits in the world are not going to tell you that once you move in, if you run out of money, we'll take care of you. What they will say instead is, when you run out of money, we'll give you 30 days and help you find another place to live. And that's not the history of the Hearthstone. There is this faith-based thread continuously running through what we do. So, for that reason, we believe the idea of a trio could represent the three foundational values of the Lutheran Church, and they are, if you can't read it or don't know them, nurturing, safeguarding, and caring for people. I did not know this. I'm not Lutheran. I wasn't raised Lutheran. But as I came to this community and began to make friends and reach out and talk to colleagues, I realized just how many senior living communities, whether they're CCRCs or full skilled nursing communities, how many of them are Lutheran and were founded by local Lutheran churches. And that's the case almost all over this state, down in Tacoma, out in Spokane. I mean, I got to hand it to the Lutherans. And this goes back to the 50s and 60s, where there was this general effort. And if you look at that last thing of caring for all people, there was a need for seniors to have good, acceptable places to live. And that's where the Hearthstone Foundation lies. So we feel like that trio symbolism is important. So I'm going to take you back to this scene. Whoops, my bad. When we think about the Hearthstone and the area where we live, this particular image just does a great job of identifying I'll say the best part of living in this area, okay? So, continuing on with the re-envisioning of the Hearthstone image, the next question became colors. As I mentioned, our current logo has one color, and it's kind of a weak brown sort of a color, and that's okay. I don't criticize that. That's not my intention here. But as we look to do it again, to re-envision, color was very important. So, with our designer and Jill driving, the first thing we looked at was, well, yeah, the lake is blue. Of course, we want to represent the lake in what we do, after all I just said about how important the lake is. The second thing is the fact that, why am I going backwards? Why am I no longer on that screen? Sorry. Green, that you'll see in the logo, represents obviously the lake, the green lake, but it's the Green Lake neighborhood combined with the fact that this part of the country, and I've never lived anywhere like this, is just constant evergreen trees. I mean, it is truly iconic in this state, and I'm so appreciative of it. I have always said, because I lived in California, lived in North Carolina, people are generally, happy to help and very open and friendly. And I went to California, and it's not that way everywhere in California. Nothing against Californians. But then I moved up here, and I found it to be more like North Carolina. People just more friendly and open. How you doing? They speak to you. And I contributed to the oxygen that the evergreen trees put out. Because if you've been to most areas of California, with the exception of the northern part of the state, there aren't many trees down there, and there's not a lot putting oxygen back in the air for us to breathe. So that's just my personal theory on that. So then we moved to the font that's in that original logo. And that font is really not used anymore. It also has a certain connotation to it, again, going back to and I'm sorry, again, don't want to offend anybody, but that stoic idea in that particular font. So we looked at something new, and Jill gets credit for choosing this because the designer gave us several. She recommended it, and we looked at it. And it's a font called Montserrat, or Montserrat, is English or American pronunciation. It's modern. It is the font that you've been reading this whole time. And it was recommended by the designer as a replacement for what we have. There it is. What we have is a serif font, very general, very basic, used over and over again. But the reality is it didn't feel new, and this does. We then, we use that lettering, we will use that Montserrat lettering on the exterior signs here on the community. That won't happen right away. That's a longer-term capital investment. But we definitely want to change the font on the signage. We can't really identify. I have heard early Gothic kind of a feel. So, and it's some of those, that signage is not new. That signage has been there for a long, long time. The logo I showed you earlier, the current Hearthstone logo, that's just dates back about 5 or 6 years. So we're going to work on that because that adds what salespeople affectionately call curb appeal. When people ride by and they see your old sign, they assume that's an old building. It is, you know, but they assume that maybe we're not sort of in the modern times. I think having 2 Teslas helps with that a lot. And then the last thing is that, well, yeah, we put them on the Teslas, obviously. And Jeff was saying X and S. And I don't know about some of you, but my hearing doesn't do the difference. I happen to know what he was talking about, but the X car, think extra large, that's the big blue one we bought first. The S, a little smaller, but a great little car to scoot around in, very safe, and obviously very green. So I think the last thing is we made a change to the nomenclature, as Jill would say. I still have a mic. We decided to take out at. In the original logo and things you see around here, it is the Hearthstone at Green Lake. And a lot of debate over this, but in the end, we felt like, do we really have to say that? We just need for people to know it's the Hearthstone Green Lake. Like there's another Hearthstone in the area and we want to be at the one at Green Lake, but we feel like that works. Again, what's on the blue Tesla is exactly that, the Hearthstone Green Lake. It's just simple, to the point. So, I know you're all just dying to see this. And no more jokes, okay? But after many, many months of work and discussions, both between Jill and I, with our designer, with our marketing company, this is where we landed. This is what we showed the board about a month ago, and they seemed to be delighted at it, and no one gave me one of these. And so, and again, we'll put it in the lobby for you to walk by and see the rest of the week, but this is what the new Hearthstone logo looks like. So the trilogy symbol, the trio symbol in the middle, there's your trees. The colors show the trees and the lake, and the little wavy line tells you that it's a lake. It has movement to the water. But if you squint just a little bit, that kind of looks like an H. We didn't mean for it to, but after we got the logo, we thought, because the current logo is just a big block H. That's all it is with the vertical, horizontal reeds on it. But this is the new font. This is the new coloring system. I can't use it on the blue Tesla because it wouldn't show up. We did white there. But this is what you'll see. Now let me talk about how this is being rolled out. Now that I've told all of you, the next thing that will begin to happen is as we need to reorder any paper products, letterhead, cards, envelopes, anything we print and send out, we will make a shift to those items. Not all in bulk. I'm not going to go spend $20,000 on paper products and throw all those others away. We will work through the process. So you may still see this logo appear from time to time. So that will just sort of happen organically over time. In terms of signage, we haven't even gotten a quote. We don't really yet know exactly where we want to put signage. We probably will put something back on the what I call a porte cochere that overhangs the sidewalk. You can't drive under it, but that's what it is. So we'll likely change that. We may add a sign. We've talked about a monument sign that you see at most businesses and communities. If we can get City of Seattle to let us put something like that out there. So that's another possibility. We may add a sign. There is a sign on Green Lake looking at the building. If you look up toward where the dining room is, we may look at changing that one. Where we don't have signage, correct me if I'm wrong, is on Woodlawn. You go up and down Woodlawn, you don't know what this building is. Is it a hospital? Is it some sort of care facility? And it is, but you'd never know it was a CCRC or something as special as what has been built here by our predecessors and all of you. So we're excited to get into that. When we have some better quotes, excuse me, left my water down there. When we get into quotes and an understanding, I'll communicate out to all of you, like, here's what we're thinking about doing. And I'll go ahead and tell you, it's probably going to be in phases. So it's, you know, I mean, that whole project could easily be $100,000, and I'm not going to do that. But it doesn't come out of the budget we talked about last week. This is capital expense, which comes from, I share that with you, essentially from part of the entrance fees we collect, and then also comes from any support we may end up with from our foundation that we formed. A quick update on that. The last piece of the puzzle is getting our tax exempt status approved with the IRS. Anybody want to guess how many months behind the IRS is on that? My attorney told me that they've indicated they're getting to the ones filed in April. We filed ours at the beginning of this month. So, and that's important. However, so I would tell you, even if you wanted to, you really can't give to the Hearthstone Foundation this month. You can, however, begin giving to the foundation in January for next tax year, because guarantee you, we'll have our tax exempt status. We have an EIN. We can provide you that. We wouldn't want anybody to legally file taxes and say they gave to an exempt organization, tax exempt, when that wasn't the case. So that'll all be next year. I can encourage you, though, if you're not tapped out from the employee holiday fund, if you want to give to resident assistance, you can do that the way you've always done it, which is simply to notify accounting. They can take it out of your account. I'll put it on your invoice. You can also send us a check, whatever you want to do, and we'll ensure that that goes into our current funding for resident assistance. And I've told you before, that money just continues to accumulate. It's not enough money for us to go hit and use, because then it'll be gone. So we just continue to accumulate that. But we will have the foundation ready to accept donations in January. So I'm not going to ask questions. I want you to think about this a little more. Please offer your opinions. You can email me if you want to sit down and talk about it. You need to go through Hallie. She keeps my calendar straight. And again, we'll put it in the lobby for everybody to see, and then this will be rebroadcast for others. So thank you very much. That's my spiel. Don't you trip over. Yeah. Look at that. You already got it. It's because I moved it.
Thank you. So we will now continue with a few more reports, but I want to know where the book is, the little black book. Is it moving around? Wonderful. Thank you. Let's keep it going. And let's hear what's happening new in the way of our physical plant and all of that sort of stuff. And so we'll welcome Tim. Our Director of Facilities? That's good enough. Okay, I was going to add a whole bunch, but that's okay.
So first, thank you. Let me take this off. Thank you. I'm going to talk about a couple things that Frank recommended I kind of focus on today. Got it. How's that? Okay. So the first item on the list, a long outstanding item, is the sidewalk repair down here on First and Lakeview. We've secured an agreement with Rainier Asphalt and Concrete. We've provided a deposit to them, and we're awaiting for them to secure the permit for us to start the process. That should be happening here pretty quickly. However, the city of Seattle does move slowly with permitting sometimes. Okay. Second one is, and it kind of fits a little bit with curb appeal. with the new concept, the new branding, all that kind of stuff. And it's irrigation and lighting. I put the two together because I'm in talks with a group called Sound Irrigation and Lighting Design. But more importantly, we have some individuals now in our departments that can help us with that. So one of the biggest concerns lately was lighting here on First Avenue when individuals had to not go through the woodlawn doors. The lighting is atrocious on First Avenue at night. There is no lighting to speak of. So very unsafe for our neighbors and for us staff and for residents. So we're looking at that in a couple of different ways of what can we do immediately to remove the temporary situation that's out there. So we're going to put some Christmas stuff out there that will accomplish the task, but it's short term. Okay, it'll give some nice curb appeal with Christmas theme. Second part is what do we just go like a lot of places do and put these big old lights up on the side of the building that look glaring and very technical? No, we need to have conversations with folks like Jill, with Reggie, with others in the community of what can things look like? Do we have a certain look we want to accomplish? Why I put this with irrigation is because we all know that the irrigation is totally broke around this building. But with that, there used to be some really good lighting around the building that were focal points. They focused on the building in certain areas intentionally, on plants, on things like that, and all of that has become broken over years the same way the irrigation is. Trees breaking, lack of us maintaining it well, and things like that. So we're going to look at the whole package around this building along with this new design theory. So good start. Wow, this next one was interesting. Met with the Coves Garden Maintenance Committee yesterday. Anybody in that group here? There's one. Okay, perfect. Because when you meet with a group like that, you're going to be astonished with what you get. Okay, I walked in there with a list of things that they were wanting to talk about and some suggestions for improvement at their garden and things like that. But what I got was not only their list, okay, but their conceptual drawings, okay. This goes back to the professionals we have as residents, and this was mostly Keith putting all this together, who loves doing this type of work. So it's put together in such a way where not only can I walk around and I could see it, I could visualize it. And it makes it a lot easier to say yes to. So we're going to be moving forward with that as soon as I talk to Reggie a little bit more. New employees, new faces out there. We have 4 new faces out there in our arena. For renovation and facilities, we just brought on Jake Lockhart. He's an electrician by trade. We have a real tradesperson with real technical skills. So some of this electrical stuff around the building, lighting, things like that, are going to probably fall with Jake. He's going to be primarily supporting renovations with Gary to do any electrical work in his renovations. And then if he's in between jobs, he'll be assisting maintenance and facilities with any of the projects we have. So it's going to be a great combined effort with the renovation team. Second, maintenance. We hired a young man, Sergey, and I got to say that correctly because he's got 2 I's. Sergey, and this is where I get astonished with some individuals. He's not just a maintenance tech. He came from Ukraine about 4 years ago, and in the country of Ukraine, he's got a master's of science in communications. Okay, so that doesn't transfer well over here with our language sometimes, but he's also been a great maintenance technician, working on apartments, working on renovations, that kind of stuff. And he's a very pleasant person. He's a good fit for our community. The next 2 are for the front desk, and you've definitely seen these 2 individuals. That's Jade and Lee. They're very visible because they're at the front desk. So welcome those individuals when you see them. I think that's all I got. Woodlawn doors are open. Okay. Do I want to entertain questions? I got a hand up. Okay. Thank you.
I totally forgot to mention the survey that many of you have done. We were planning to have results by now with the intentions of having a meeting in January. There were quite a few folks that missed the deadline, not their fault, not in every case, because Hallie and I were under the understanding it ended on a certain date, and they turned it off the day before. So if you're one of those folks like me that waits to the last minute when you just absolutely have to do something, you're locked out and couldn't do it. The survey has now been reopened, and only those people that haven't previously completed a survey are being informed, or they'll see it come in their email or text. And the survey is going to stay open through next December 28th. I'd have to do the math. That's about a week away. So if you got you got a request to complete your survey, please do so. We're not going to take a measure again of how many people have not responded, because some people just simply may not want to do it, and we're fine with that. We don't need 100% response. The idea behind a survey of a population is you get as many people as possible to respond. We get a better idea of those items that are the most important. If you put comments in your survey, and please do, or thank you for those that have already done that, we will be responding to those one-on-one. If it had to do with maintenance, Tim or Nate or someone from that team is going to be reaching out to you and just exploring why you said that, like what, and finding out what we can do to try to make that better. I just want to let you know that that process has not started yet. This is our first time through this survey, so it's a learning process for us as well. And we've not had time to really train the staff on how to use the system to see that, oh, somebody complained about this, not complained, somebody has a concern about this thing or ask about this thing. We want you to hear from the proverbial horse's mouth, and so each of the key team members will be responding to you directly. Thank you.
So we're going to be quick here because, well, just because we should be. So Denise and Jean, could you come up for a minute? Because we're going to do quick little reports, and if you stand up here, then the camera can catch you. Denise, come on up. So Penny Vogel is not able to be here today, so Denise is going to do the dining report. Yeah, come on up. You do.
Have to be up here.
One more. There you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
One more step.
Okay. All right. Let's see. This is Penny's report, or just highlights from the dining report. You should all have a copy of that anyhow. The Thanksgiving dinner received 100% positive comments. It was delicious. The happy kiosk results, they were a bit lower in November, which is a surprise since the dinner was so popular. September had 82%, October 81%, and November went down to 78%. Who knows? One bad meal can set it all off. The virtual kitchen tour is being edited, and once it's completed, we'll get to tour the kitchen. And let's see, the current tableware is being replaced, and the two options are being offered. I couldn't find them the other night. Are they still? They're back out there? Okay. So right in front of the library, there'll be a sheet for you to check off which set you like the most. Okay. All right. Okay, the current tableware, there's, I think, two sets out there, two options for us to vote on. And it's set up outside the library, and there should be a sheet there for you to vote on. That's a John question, and she doesn't have it in here. Okay. Let's see. And there's more intensive staff, one-on-one staff training has begun. Okay, so you may see another person kind of hovering around different staff members to help guide them. Okay.
Great, thank you.
That's that.
Jean. Jean is going to step in for Don Bell and do the movie committee.
Yes, just a brief
question.
report about the movie committee. We met yesterday, so we don't have everything locked into place yet. about what we'll be showing, but we plan to do kind of a very brief retrospective of one of our very well-known actresses, and that's Meryl Streep. And those will be on the Saturday nights in January. And then on Tuesday nights, we're going to do musicals for those of you who like musicals. So there will be 5 of those, and there will be 4 of the Meryl Streep movies.
Can I have that 1 second? He's going to shoot me, but I'll 30 seconds. Stephen has done some research and found out that projectors like this that now use lasers are within our price range. They've come down considerably. We looked at replacing that with a modern projector sometime back. It was 5 figures. We think we can stay in 4 figures now. So that's in the works. We haven't found the machine or bought one yet, but it will be, I can't remember the math, even 5 times or more, over 10 times brighter than what you see now, which will make it more relevant to the television screens. Speaking of television screens, how am I doing? So, Mr. Bell brought to my attention that we often have events downstairs that utilize a television. Okay? The Super Bowl, Oscars party, sometimes even showing a movie for a smaller group. So we've already purchased a large, very large, the largest TV you can buy, 86 inches, and it's going on the wall where the screen comes down now. We'll keep the screen, we'll keep the projector, but you all need to have and this is high quality. I was home on, what day was that? I don't know why I was there, dental work, on Cyber Monday, and I just kept watching and looking. And the rule of thumb is it's $10 per inch. If you can buy a television for $10 per inch, you get a good deal. And I can remember buying 32-inch TVs around $300 and 45-inch TVs around $450. This one was right around, it was $7.99, so I actually got it for less than $10 an inch. But we should have that up next week. Gary's promised me to get that going in time for, thank you. Of course. So that should be a great party. We're also going to add a sound bar. There's a sound system down there like this one. That's not really designed for coordination with viewing video. So we'll have an actual movie type sound system, which they're not expensive either. So look forward to that. Just wanted you to know.
Excuse me, Frank.
Yep.
Frank, I have a question about the dining committee report. Denise said that you should all have copies of the minutes. Well, I don't think they go out to everybody, and I attach them to the minutes for these meetings belatedly, but what is the distribution on that?
Penny sends it to me as the building chair, and then I send it out to my.
Yeah, it goes
right,
to the
okay,
floor
okay,
chairs.
Okay, because I'm going to stop attaching it to these minutes if
Okay.
it's being distributed elsewhere.
I bet it should go as a hard copy, and we have a notebook on our.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we'll work out the logistics. So one thing that got missed at the very end there, the big screen TV will be up in time for the University of Washington beating Texas on New Year's Eve. Sorry about you Texans. Yes, Gene? Oh.
So the floor chairs do not receive the dining committee report on, in email.
Yeah. Okay, so the dining committee report goes out to the dining chairs on the floors, and then this is democracy at work, right? Eventually. Okay. Excuse me.
Maybe I will continue to attach them.
We started with a review of the year in progress, right? And then got the great news. Thank you for bringing that in. 250 CCRs studied all across the country with a wide range of qualifiers, and we are 10th in the country and significantly first in the state of Washington. All right? We have a new image.
What's the magazine?
Newsweek magazine.
News and World Report, or was
Newsweek magazine. You can pull it up. I sent it to you.
Yeah, the Newsweek magazine. I'll tell you what, it maybe, okay, tomorrow when the management update comes out, perhaps there will be a link in that, because I'm sure management of the Hearthstone would love to share that information.
Might be on the website before the end of the day.
Yeah, it'll be on the website before the end of the day. Absolutely right. Pardon? Oh, yeah. Seattle Times is going to know about it. Yeah. I think there's a volunteer group that's going to be wearing sandwich boards walking around the lake. I mean, this is a big deal. You think we just have Teslas? Yeah, T-shirts in the gift shop, too. I can just see the logo, the Tesla. Oh, wonderful. All right, so we run over time. I just want to mention this, though. We're going to launch into a new year. And there's a celebratory event that takes place tonight. One of the beloved things that disappeared during COVID was a thing called the Hearthstones. Well, the Hearthstones are being resurrected, if you will. And at 7 o'clock tonight, there will be a sing-along right here. Now, it's not as big as it was when dearly beloved Barbara ran it. And it's because it's a smaller group and they've been practicing and rehearsing. This is a sing-along. So come along, sing along tonight. Yes. It's a concert and a sing-along, although I do know some people who sing along no matter what. We'll try and tamp that down. All right? So there you have it. So, yes.
It's all Christmas carols.
It's all Christmas carols. And one Hanukkah song. And that will be in the minutes. No, sorry. So, with that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Oh, sure. Floor chairs. Thank you. Okay. No, hang on. Stay here because this is going to be very brief because we have changed the process for floor chair reports at the Assembly. Here's the deal. When we meet as the Residents' Council, we hear great detailed reports from each floor chair about what's going on. They bring the issues to us. We then take them to Reggie or Tim or wherever and all of that. And what we decided as a board and as a group that at this meeting, the floor chair should do simply two things. Welcome somebody who's new and tell us about an event you may have had. All right? That's all we need to hear. And we're going to do it very briefly. And we're going to start with Cove East. So just stand up and shout it out.
I still want to thank Kelly and.
Well, okay, here's the mic. So we need to be quick because we need to be quick because we have the entire staff of the Hearthstone here, and our ratings are going to fall if they don't go back to work.
If they don't get back to work. Okay. First, just to thank Haley and Nate for getting our makeshift light on First Avenue when they closed the Woodlawn entrance, because those of us coming over from the coast have to walk through the dark. And unfortunately, Tim was on vacation. You're not supposed to do that. Be away. We had an Apple Cup party. I call it the Apple Crisp party to celebrate that event. And we're going to have a cookie exchange coming up on Monday with also food gathering for Northwest Harvest.
Super.
And yes, we will gather over there for the football game.
Okay, great. Is Elaine here? Oh, there she is. Thank you. Cove West.
Cove West. We also had an Apple Cup party, complete with a very fun and quiz about the Apple Cup history that was created by our own dear Dave Wackerbarth. That was big fun. We got our trees decorated. We all had one in the bridge this year, which was new to me. So now we have 2 trees over there. We are also having a watch party for the Sugar Bowl on New Year's. We are continuing to be entertained by the construction project going on behind us. That's great, interesting. And we have our own construction project in Cove West. They're going to be combining 2 of the smaller units into one larger one.
Okay, thank you. Sheila. Oh, she's going to get a mic. Good.
So they're still working on combining 2 units. We don't know yet if we know who's going to be living there, but that'll be exciting. And then our meeting next week will be a party.
Will be a party. Okay, Jean is right behind you for the 9th floor.
Thank you. We will probably recommend people go down to the lower level to watch the Sugar Bowl because there will be a party down there. And we recently, this week, had our holiday / Christmas party. And it was a white elephant gift exchange, which is always a lot of fun. And we collected food and items for the University District Food Bank.
Great, thank you. Liz? Wait, Liz, there's a mic.
Our party is next Monday, and that's all I have to report.
Great, Jim is right behind you.
Thank you very much. Oh, you're good, Jim.
Jim Killingsworth, 7th floor.
New residents, Dinah Hartley moved into the unit number 725 on the November the 13th and was here for a couple of weeks. She's not here today, I don't think.
Okay.
But she, in a couple of weeks, she went on a vacation. She's back now. So if you see her or her 2 cats, say hello to her. 7th floor, we had a Christmas decorating party a week ago Saturday. Pizza was served after the decorations went up.
Thank you, Jim. Stephen, over here. Jackie Backus from the 6th floor.
Hello, 6th floor. We want to welcome Alfreda Pruz. Alfreda, where are you? Oh, great timing. Okay, we had a Christmas decorating our lounge, and then we are going to have a Christmas party next week, floor meeting / Christmas party, and we are buying stuffed animals, and those will be taken over to the fire station for Christmas.
Oh, great. Laurel is in the back there. Thank you. Laurel Johnson from the 5th floor.
5th floor, no new residents. We had a Christmas tree and common area decorating party, and like Jim, we didn't have our appetizers, goodies, and wine till we were all done.
Eileen Schwartz is. Laurel, would you hand? Okay, here comes a microphone.
Eileen.
There you go.
Microphones. Hi. We decorated, and we are having our holiday party on Tuesday.
Right.
Everyone's going to come and have a good time.
Okay, thank you. Well, now, thank you very much for your patience. It's been an interesting and information-filled event. Remember that there is an event here. It is a concert involving both Christmas carols and a Hanukkah song, and it's also a portion of a sing-along, and it's appropriate for you all to come. And with that, I will call for a motion to, oh my. Where's the book? Thank you. The book is in the back. So let's do this. Let's just leave the book on the table, and we'll leave it there through this evening. All right? And so come on down, and maybe during the event tonight, sign it. I wonder if there's anything else I've missed. Quickly, a motion for adjournment? Do I hear a second? All in favor? So let me just tell you that your entire board here wishes you a very, very happy holiday season. Thank you for coming today.